Hey guys, welcome to the Perfectly Wasted Podcast. I'm the host, DullOxide. Today is episode 63 called End of Days. You can find all of my previous episodes on the Drinking Wisemen YouTube channel, along with my kind of sporadic at this point secondary podcast, Brew the Truth, all my day-to-day photos, cosplay photos, cat photos on my Instagram at DullOxide. So today we're talking about the end of days, the end of the world, apocalypse, or the world being destroyed by a giant meteor, asteroid, or, any number of other things. And the reason that we're talking about it a little bit today is because coming up on this Saturday, which is September 23rd, they're going to be having a end of world scare. So they're saying right now that everything kind of lines up perfectly for a prophecy stating that Planet X will be passing by the Earth, and due to its great gravity, it will basically be pulling the Earth apart. Just to give you an idea, just to kind of have a rough idea of like how these kind of predictions work, now that they're able to track things a little bit better, obviously, and things are being tracked, in the history that we currently know that has been recorded, that, anyone could say they had heard, basically, there have been approximately 150 or so end of days predictions. And that's, a plethora of different things, whether it be, Planet X or asteroids again, or, the second or third coming of Christ, or any number of ways that the Earth could possibly be destroyed because of our sins or because of science or because of any other thing. That's an approximate number based off of what I could find that's currently recorded, that's available to pretty much almost anyone if you have internet access. And now this is just counting, again, what has been reported to these sources, but it's not something like me saying, oh, by the way, next Tuesday, end of the world. It's something that, philosophers and other people who are highly respected have come up with times or days or years or spans of years that the Earth may be destroyed in for any number of reasons, basically. And so, again, as an idea, about 150, approximately 150. Now, that being said, something that I found pretty interesting was that last year, in 2016, there were 8 such predictions. 8, which is a tremendous number when you take into consideration how many other years these predictions have been made in. And there's about, I want to say something like 12 of them that have been made as predictions for after the 21st century. And prior to the 21st century, there's 53 that were made. In the 21st century, there is by far the most predictions. Now, that being said, obviously there's going to be some predictions that have been missed and some of them that weren't reported or recorded. So this is kind of going to be like a hit and miss kind of thing. Obviously, this kind of stuff doesn't get like a tremendous amount of press all the time because only recently has the world been really interconnected with the internet and with, worldwide broadcasts and YouTube and things like this. So there's really kind of not been too many ways that the entire planet could have recorded these kind of things over, the centuries, essentially, over the span of the Earth. So it kind of gets you thinking, if this is the case, then, how frequently do we get these scares? And as I stated, in 2016, there was about 8 of them that were reported. And for 2017, there's a total of 4. So, I mean, if you go by the math, we got half as much chance this year the Earth will be destroyed as we did last year. So that's kind of good, right? All in all, I got to say, if you're just going by like numbers of what's currently been reported, then it's pretty safe to say that the Earth probably isn't going to be destroyed, next Saturday. But, I guess you just never know. Maybe there is a chance that in like some sci-fi movie, we get next Saturday a giant planet that just happens to pop into existence outside of, the Earth and just starts tearing it apart. Realistically, based off of the knowledge that we currently have, at least, we could say that that's probably not going to happen. No black hole or anything like that's going to just pop into existence right outside of the Earth's gravitational pull or even within the area of the Earth and start tearing the planet apart. And, obviously NASA has gone through and they've made a statement at some point when they heard about this kind of scare, whether it be, years and years ago when this scare was initially kind of introduced, or, even more recently. Basically, they said if this kind of thing was going to happen within the realm of science, if it was predictable, then we'd be able to see the planet. Like the planet would be inside of the solar system. So realistically, it's pretty low chances that the Earth's going to be destroyed on Saturday. With that being said, also, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't enjoy every day of life like, it might be the last. So with that in mind, go ahead and hang out with some friends on Saturday, have a really great time, maybe go to a party, maybe do something really fun, go to a fair or a festival, and you just try and make the best of it. From what I understand, one of the more popular music festivals is probably going to be in town this weekend. That's Life is Beautiful. So maybe life is beautiful and maybe it'll continue past Saturday. And hey, if that's the case, then that's a great reason to celebrate, isn't it? So with all this, I kind of just wanted to say that honestly, like if there was some kind of way that somebody would know that the end of days is coming, the end of the world is upon us, or is going to be inside of the future by telling through a prophecy or through science or through religion or some kind of wacky numerology or any number of reasons. If there was a way, then, obviously, I think that at this point, most people would just kind of like shrug it off, because maybe if we could prove it with science, if there was some way to prove it with science, I think that more people believe science these days than don't believe it. And like, while we have different reasons to maybe disagree with that point, we could all say that, pretty much everyone uses phones, which is technology which have come about because of science. We all pretty much generally trust thermometers, also science. We all generally trust clocks, also science. All of these things are, basically created by scientific record. Either somebody has proven these to be real, or it is the most highly proven factor of any given thing. So, we have things that, we all can kind of agree probably exist or in some form are there. As an example, oxygen. We know that there is an element which we have named oxygen, that without it, we more than likely cannot survive. We have to breathe it in order to survive. So this is pretty easily seen by, just going underwater. If you're underwater and holding your breath, even though water is H2O, it has an oxygen factor inside of it, you can't breathe it in. You just would drown, because the human lung cannot take oxygen out of water, unlike, a fish, for instance. So these are all things that are scientifically proven, and we generally all believe these things. So I'd say that it's pretty safe to say that more people back science pretty easily than maybe any kind of prediction that might have been made, whether it be from a book or from a man, that the planet might be destroyed. Now, that's just saying if it isn't scientifically backed in some way. So it's just kind of like interesting to believe that in this day and age, we're going back through prophecies and through obviously a lot of people believe the Bible, and a lot of people seek the truth that the Bible gives to them. And that's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's entitled to believe whatever they might want to believe. But when you have the majority of people, I would say, that believe in science and don't question it, versus maybe the majority of people believe in some type of deity or some kind of, religious scriptures and things like this, maybe they believe in these things, that's kind of a pretty big difference. You have this, maybe they believe in this thing, and then this irrefutable thing that it's just kind of like, listen, you might not agree with it, but it's here. Like the sun is a fiery ball of gas that is inside of our solar system that you can see. And now you could refute that, and you could say, no, it isn't. It was something that was created by God. And, obviously it's not a fiery ball of gas, or whatever you want to say, and you could try and make any kind of argument that you might want to and choose to not believe it. But there are other scientifically proven facts that are just things that we go by day to day that we know about, that we understand are there, that we believe. It's pretty obvious that science plays a pretty big role in today's society, and whether or not you choose to believe that scientific fact is actually fact, or that religious fact or religious stories are actually something that is very believable and that you trust wholeheartedly, whether or not you choose that, I think we could kind of be on the same page here that more than likely the Earth's going to survive past next Saturday. So if you don't agree with me, and if you believe that the Earth is going to be destroyed in the next week or so, by all means, leave a comment down below. Let me know why. Let me know what your sources are on this and why you believe it to be so. And if you think it's going to be destroyed maybe sometime in the future from now, then again, let me know. I'm more than happy to hear about it. So with that, thanks again for joining us here today. As always, please do like, subscribe, and share these episodes. And again, that was 10 minutes perfectly wasted.